5 lights, and away we go. I think everybody got a decent start there.
That's an insane start from Koushik. Exactly what he would have wanted.
Oh, Upbeat Serrano, he just sneak onto the inside and he has to P2.
Be able to salvage some points all the way down.
Eccentric sending down the inside on Oxygen, and Oxygen is coming back alongside. Putting his wheels, and he's side by side going around the outside. And I think he's got the move done. Yes, he has got the move. Oh, still there side by side. But he's got the inside line. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first round of IRC's Season 9 F1 2021. Well, we are back from the break. The IRL F1 might have gone into a break, but we are just getting started. And, well, what a track to start off other than Silverstone. But before that, let me just introduce my co-commentator, one-time IRC champion, Mr. SimplyYT. Simply, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing absolutely great, Deepak. How are you?
Yeah, doing really good. The weekend's about to start, got some good vibes going on, and season is about to get started. And this is a fabulous track to start on. Silverstone, one of my favorites. Let's have a look at the track video followed by a hot lap.
Sure. So welcome to Silverstone. The track is 5.8 kilometers long. We have two DRS zones, two detection zones for the DRS zones, 18 corners, as you can see. Very tricky track in a few places, and of course, with we'll be able to see very good racing through some of the famous corners such as Cops and stuff. Why not go on the hot lap now?
Alright then, welcome on board a lap of the Silverstone circuit. Now heading to turn 1, it's a flat out. Want to use minimum steering and keep it as smooth as possible as to not throw off any speed. Into turn 2, trail brake extremely heavily, and then just a light dab on the brakes for turn 4, slingshot the car into Brooklands. You want to keep a wide line and watch out for the DRS mode on either side of the track and open it with a few extra Ks you will need to overtake on this track. Now braking just after 50 for the Luffield section, lots of different lines you can experiment with through here, but as we see, take a tight line and then slingshot the car onto the second straight, which is formerly the pit entrance and the old GPs. Now into Cops Corner, it's relatively flat out, but again, you have to be very accurate with the steering as to not scrub any speed off the car. Into Maggots and Beckets as you glide from apex to apex, keeping the minimum speed high. Just to dab on the brakes in the Beckett section and slingshot the car into Hanger Straight. Watch out for the DRS board on either side of the track. Open it for the extra Ks. Now into Store section, you want to brake just after the curb starts and just a dab on the brakes, and then you flick the steering onto the right and get a great exit. And to Vale, tires are crying by this point, but you just got one more corner, so hang on as you get a slingshot exit onto the start finish straight, and that's a lap of Silverstone.
All right, that was a streaking lap from Rahul, and yeah, I think the lobby is almost up. All the drivers are ready, and I think we've got a full grid today. So yeah, season opening definitely has got everyone very excited. What do you think, Simply?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, staying away from racing for a month and a half, our IRC boys couldn't hold themselves together, and they were really excited to start again. A lot of enthusiasm from them. So this is going to be great, seeing what kind of racing they present to us.
Yep, I'm really looking forward to it because this track is known for some absolutely brilliant racing. The way the track layout is, with its absolutely fast and flowing corners, and the way the track is wide enough so that you have multiple alternate lines going through. It's not like you're restricted to one line, which ensures some brilliant racing as we saw in this year's round as well, which is actually hyping me up even more to see what's going to happen.
Certainly. Although I would like to add there, the drivers do need to take care of their front tires, as this track is quite heavy on the front end. But however, through corners such as Maggots and Beckett's, Cops and stuff, it'll be really interesting to see what kind of lines their drivers take, and what kind of lap times they set as we move into quali. Let's move on to the weather forecast. Uh, we have a fairly dry qualifying, with the last few minutes being rain. Today starting off is wet, but it will dry out as we go on. So that's gonna be interesting as to what kind of approaches the drivers take.
That looks like a bit of an interesting weather over there. I mean, of course, yes, quali. What I think that's gonna mean is that the track evolution, it's gonna be cut down short, because you can't wait until the last minute when the track is gonna be fine, because it's gonna start raining. So I think the pressure is gonna be on the drivers to set a quick lap as quick as they could.
Certainly, I think we could expect a few, car parks here and there, considering everyone will be rushing to set out at least 2 runs so that they can have a fair shot at getting the pole position. As we can see, already a few drivers coming out of Red Bull. Rajesh is Alfa Romeo as well, the first car out of the pits today. And we don't know exactly when it's going to go wet, but at least what we can expect is towards the end of the session. So it's going to be a lot of rush in and out of the pit lane. So yeah, the drivers have to be really on par and on edge as to set proper times and have, of course, enough gaps to set those times.
So simply, I guess you're the coordinator for this tier. Am I right?
I'm a coordinator for Tier X, but I am looking over all the other tiers as well.
So could you just help me out with who are the new faces that are showing up for this round? I could definitely recognize a few names, but there's still, I feel like there are a lot of new names this time around.
I'm not sure if there have been any Tier 4 drivers. I mean, I do know that there's going to be a very good mix of Tier 3, as well as some of the Tier 2 drivers such as Envy, and a couple of the Tier 4 drivers. I believe Rajesh is a new face over here. He could, we don't know what he has, what he's capable of, so he could be quite interesting to watch out for this round, and of course throughout the season. I think Fuzzy Dunlop is also fairly new. I think he raced in Tier 4 the last season. So yeah, quite interesting. I think Karthik Sub as well in the Aston Martin is a new driver. So it'll be interesting to see what these new drivers bring to our grid.
Yep, it's always nice to see new people coming in. We always like new participants showing up, new people racing. Oh, that's
and he's gone
unfortunate. And his quali is cut short.
That is unfortunate for Rajesh, because certainly you do need those quali times, and I don't think it's going to be really helpful for him in the race at all. What do you think, Deepak?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of wary of his inputs because I think he's in a controller, I guess, and his inputs were a bit, let's say, jerky a little bit. And this track is one where smooth inputs are absolutely crucial, especially those corners where the car's rear could just step out and slide around, and that's exactly what happened. I just felt like the input was just too rough for the car to handle and just give up.
Certainly, I believe that is what has happened. Let's just hope that he can recover in the race, and he has a good recovery as well in the race. But for now, Abhi has set the purple first sector shown on the track map.
I do believe this is the first representative Hotlap that we're seeing, so yeah, let's see.
Certainly. We do have, I think, Abhi and Envy in the AlphaTauri. I think these drivers will be certainly competing for the WDC. The teams have been set up this season to have such teams where there's going to be few competitive people in the same teams, and then a few people in the back as well, fighting it out for the points, and to show who's the best in the midfield. And then we're going to have multiple drivers fighting for the WDC and the WCC. And as Abhi crosses the line, it sets a 27.9. It's not a bad banker lap, considering that it's just the first few lap times, and the track's not really evolved yet. There's not much rubber on the track, and there's a bit of a car park that Dark Knight's coming into. I wonder if that is going to hinder his lap.
I definitely think he would have wanted to take a much wider entry into the corner, but both the Red Bulls were there, and that could have maybe cost him a few 10th here or there.
Certainly, if yeah, baked potatoes at a 28-2. I think. I think he just set the purple first sector. We'll have to see where he ends up. However, potatoes at a 28-2. I think there's a bit of a car park already. If you can figure out who the drivers are, just
It looks
behind
like
Dark Knight.
Red Bull, a Mercedes, an Aston Martin. Oh, and I see another car has also gone off.
Haas as well. Yeah, that. No, I believe that was just someone coming out of the pits.
Yeah,
Since
yeah,
they
that's
were
right.
very
That's right.
close to the pit entry. Yeah, so as you can see, there's already a car park forming, and of course, we don't want this to happen, but I'm pretty sure the drivers are smart enough. And Dark Knight has set a purple middle sector as well. This is a very interesting lap. We'll have to see if he ends up on the pole, or at least very close. Just updating now before Dark Knight crosses the line. Blaze has set a 28-4 to put him provisionally P3, and Turbo Chook has set a 28-7. Again, not bad for, banker laps. Dark Knight's coming across the last corner, crossing the line. Goes second fastest.
Not bad.
I believe we have a fight for the pole here on our hands between Upbeat, Dark Knight, and certainly Envy, who's on a lap right now. Currently on board ABD28, one of our coordinators. He's also set the fastest for sector. I think it is bugged.
Well,
Yes,
the
he's
in-game
actually
telemetry
second
can be a
fastest
bit
for
high sometimes, so I would say rather than that, you could trust the telemetry that our lovely boys have developed within IRC, and I think that will give you a much clearer picture, I guess.
Yes,
Ooh,
and
getting a bit
he
woozy-
is a
woozy
bit
over there.
greedy. Yeah, through Corpse Corner, I think he's opted for a slightly lower downforce setup, which will be interesting to see how that works out for him in the race. He's crossing the line, starting the DRS, crossing the line into Sector 3. Not sure where he is. There's a car that's going slowly ahead of him. Will that be a hindrance, I wonder? I don't think so. Hopefully not.
I
That
don't think
car's
so. I
pulled
think
off into
he
the
is
pit. So,
just-
yeah.
I think he's entering the pit lane, so yeah.
There's a spun Mercedes in second sector. Wilster G, if you can go on board him real quickly. ABD sets a 29-7. Deepak, can we quickly go on board Wilster G? See what happened. Okay, I believe he was just giving way because he doesn't seem to have any damage, so he's certainly not spun around somewhere.
Yep.
Interesting, going for the mediums. What do you think is the optimal strategy around here, Deepak?
Well, this one particular, I am not much aware of it, but I do think that since the tire wear is high, it's always going to be about conserving your tires properly.
Certainly, and Ink Sense at 27.949.
And Abhi
But
instantly
Abhi
snatches it away.
beats it. Yeah, that was very close. He's faster by about 4/10 than Ink. Roundabout. That's a very quick lap
That was
time.
very quick. I'm pretty sure even Ink would not have realized that he was on pole by the time Abhi just got it.
Yeah, by the time he receives the notification that he's on pole, immediately 2 seconds later, he's beaten it. I'm kind of surprised to see that a few people are not on mediums. Majority of the people have gone for a soft medium strategy, I believe.
Also, another thing that you have to consider is there is rain predicted at the start. So I don't know what kind of level of rain it is going to be. But if it is going to be rain that it needs a set of inters, then I guess just going all out on soft makes sense.
Certainly, I think that would help them fully because if it does start off in the rain and not just the damp conditions, but it is drivable on slick tires. I believe a medium soft is a much better strategy. As we're on
When
with
we are
Karthik
speaking
Sub.
on the tire strategy, Karthik just put on a lap that's worthy of putting him in provisional pole. Sets of 127.4.
Very quick lap time as well. Again, Envy hasn't set a lap time yet. I believe he's waiting until the last minute. Of course, not exactly the last minute. Eric Griffin invalidates his lap. He'll be recharging his battery and going for the next one. As I said, I'm quite surprised that Envy hasn't set a lap. As Wilsterji crosses the line, will he end up still P12 but has improved by a lot? We'll see if he fits and decides to go onto the softs. Coming back to my point again.
He's just gonna run this and get his eye into the game and then go on to the top. I think that's what he's trying to do because he's already done like 3 laps on this meeting. I would say 1 out lap and then 2 hot laps. So, yeah.
Certainly, I think what his strategy is just, I think he's fueled up for a couple of laps. He's just driving around. I think he's trying to do practice while in quali, which a few drivers do. It's not recommended, but it is what it is. Fuzzy Dunlop has started his lap time. Coming back to my old point. Ooh, gets blocked by NV. Has contact with NV as well. I think
That's gonna be a slam dunk penalty.
we're not. Well, luckily he didn't have a 5 grade, but yeah, that's gonna be a penalty for NV. And I think I've cursed him because I wanted to talk about NV the whole time. I was going to say he hasn't set a lap time. He is, I believe, the fastest in this tier. Of course, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the other drivers aren't, fast enough, but he's one of the faster guys in this tier, certainly. And for now, at the beginning of the season at least, according to what the people are saying, he's looking favorable for the WTC. We'll have to see how that ends up for him, considering that he's just come out of the pits and blocked someone. So that's not going to help him because he's certainly going to get a penalty at the end of this. So I believe it is crucial for him to set a very good lap time, have a very clean and good race, and make sure he pulls away by a decent enough margin to not get affected by the penalty. As we say that Sai Tarun goes P4 with a 28-0. Red Bull 2 and 4. I wouldn't say discount Sai Tarun either, because Sai has improved a lot throughout the season. He's still improving, still a decently fast driver, just makes mistakes here and there. But of course, not to forget, he's also affected by his luck a lot. He just doesn't have his luck with him most of the times, but otherwise he's quite a quick driver. We'll have to see where he ends up. NV is starting his lap. So who do you think, Deepak, are in solid contention for WTC here?
Well, looking at this, Abhi seems to be a serious challenger right now. And the way you hyped up NV, it does look like a spicy battle between NV and Abhi. And even Karthik, he seems to be a good contender entering the fray. Let's see. But ultimately, I think it's all going to come down to the consistency, as we've seen that in so many occasions. But where you might be outrightly fast, but you might not have the luck. You might get crashed out. Something like that might happen. Like if you consider last season, Dan was supremely quick, but had a lot of unfortunate lap-out incidents and stuff like that. Oh no.
And NV gets blocked by a disconnected or decent car. That's not gonna help him because it's predicted to start raining sometime about now, so we'll have to see how that hinders his lap. He was improving in first sector. He's still purple in the second sector. Despite that, I wonder how quick he actually was, because he was 900s down in the first sector. He's purple in the middle sector by 3/10, and he invalidates his lap. He certainly has enough battery. I hope he has enough fuel as well to go on another lap immediately. Abhi says the fastest first sector by 300ths of a second. He's looking very solid, and he looks like he's in contention for the pole. But looking at what NV had within him, and despite getting blocked, he was about 3/10 up on his lap. I think Abhi really needs to push himself through the middle and the last sector, and he really needs to improve that. I think at least half a second if possible to secure him at least a good chance at pole position.
Karthik's has moved to P5.
If has moved to P5, that's
Abhi has aborted the lap.
Yes, I wonder why. I think he made a mistake. He is down in his middle sector. Mighty Owl over here in the Haas. Down on P2 by 5/10, but he is still improving on his personal best lap. Let's see where he ends up. Let's stay on board him and through the final corners. Power down flat out through here. And he goes P10 with 28.5. That's not a bad lap. I believe if he has the fuel, he can just save some ERS, pull his tires down, and go for another run, because it doesn't look like the rain is coming. And what happened?
That was weird. I think he might be having some connection issues, I guess.
I guess Fuzzy Dunlop is desync because he's going at the pit lane speed limit here.
Yep.
NV goes the fastest with a 27.3. He's up by 1/10. So is he going for another lap? I think he is.
Yeah, once again, the rain prediction at the start means these guys are not going to care about these tires. They're just going to shred them. They don't care about it.
Certainly, but I think he's on quite a blistering lap time still. Let's see, does he improve in his first sector?
But I think he'll definitely die down because I think this is his third push lap, I think. Because the first lap he got stuck behind the DC car of Fuzzy Dundip. And second lap, that was a pole lap, and now he's not even having enough battery to, gain on the straight.
Well, certainly, Deepak, but he's invalidated his lap anyways.
Yeah,
and when
that's
he
also
didn't
there.
in lap his lap, he was a tenth and a half down on his lap. So I don't think would have increased the gap by much. Anyways, onboard Turbo Chuk now, one of our new drivers here in the league, in the Williams. Let's see. Going through the first sector now, I believe, on a fresh set of tires, fresh set of softs. So what kind of lap time he sets. He's not improving on his personal best time either. 3 tenths down from Envy in the first sector. Maybe he messed up somewhere in the second sector, so maybe he can improve there. As second sector, especially from Maggots and Beckets, it's quite a place where, people really sort of, it's basically a set of corners where you can really make or break your lap. So you have to get a good run out of Cobb's corner, entry into Maggots, and then entry into Beckets, as well as the exit from Beckett's. It's really crucial as to, what sort of a lap time you have. And he is improving on his personal best, although 9 tenths down on Envy in the second sector. We'll see where he ends up. Because he is improving, so I guess my my prediction was right. He was down somewhere in the second sector. I believe it's through Maggots Beckets as he comes across the last corner, crosses the line, improves by a position, goes up into P11 with a 28.4. That's very close to Mighty Owl. But I think people are not going to set lap times anymore.
Envy has called it quits. I don't know what happened to him, whether he crashed out or whether he's confident that time won't be beaten, but he has called it quits. He's out.
I believe he's quite confident that his time won't be beaten because nobody would retire otherwise. I think he retired in the pits. Let's see, let's quickly go on, but can we go on but Deadshot to Deepak? Let's see, he's the next one crossing the line.
Sure.
Shot has been improving on his lap time. About. He goes up into P17 with a 29.8. Not bad. Let's just hope he does better in the race. And we're on board Ink now, who's down on his first sector. He did the second sector, coming at the end of the second sector. Is improving. Is very close to P1, just 900s down.
Even Karthik is on a lap. Oh no.
And almost gets invalidated by Wilson G. We'll have to see where this ends up. Let's just hope he can nail these corners. And there's a bit of traffic from Saurav Pad. It's going to give him some dirty air. Where does he end up? P3. He's about a tenth and a half down, coming on board Karthik Sub, who's improving in the second sector. Was down in the first sector, not sure by how much. He just needs a tenth to get that pole position. Let's see, can he get it very close, riding the curve? They're coming around the final corner, crossing the line. That puts him on pole. That was a very good lap that we missed by Karthik. Let's quickly go on board Abhi because he's on the lap as well. Not to discount him, he could also be in contention. He's past the first sector.
I think he's on a very old tires. It's gonna be tough for him to match the times that is set by the front runners.
Certainly, but he is improving on the first sector. Let's not discount him yet, Deepak. Let's see, he has set the fastest first sector, turning on the DRS, going onto the back straight, and he's down on his second sector. If you think he has what it takes, then I think in the last sector he might be able to improve. Let's see, there's a Ferrari ahead of him who's pulling off into the pits. Going across, coming into the final corner here. Will Abhi be able to take pole or even increase his position on the grid? Does slightly improve by his time, but does not go anywhere. Saurav Pat has invalidated the lap. Place has also invalidated, and then can you go on board Wilster G? Wilster G still on the lap. Fastest second sector for Wilster G. This is looking promising if he doesn't get it blocked by Eric Griffin, which I don't think he is, but this is not going to help him since he's going to get dirty air over here, coming across the final corner, coming across the line, goes P5. Not a bad lap from Wilster G, certainly also in contention for the win here today. as we can see, the top 5 are actually very close. I think just 4 tenths between each other. Who do you think, Deepak, your predictions, who do you think is going to win today?
It still is looking very close, but Karthik is definitely surprising us today. Like, straight up, he just starts the season with a pole, and what a way to announce yourself.
Certainly, considering I do believe, do correct me guys in the chat if I am wrong, but he is a new driver, and seeing that he's put in this sort of a performance just in quali, this is very promising, and this is going to be a very good battle between Karthik, Envy, and Ink, and Abhi, and Wister G as well. Although I think Karthik and Ink are going to have sort of an advantage because they are teammates at the end of the day. So I think Ink and Karthik will be doing a lot of teamwork between each other to to make sure they get at least a 1-2, which I do believe is possible considering Ink's race pace is far better than his race pace, and that's quali over for you guys. Run us down the grid, Deepak.
Yep. So Karthik starts the season off with a good with a 127.2, snatching the pole away from Envy, who did a 127.3 in P2, and Ink, Karthik's teammate, Aston Martin, second car in 127.4. Third position, Abhi, the leading Red Bull, in fourth position. Bill Sturgey comes in fifth. Sauro comes in sixth. Vivo comes in seventh. Sai Tarun comes in at eighth. Dark Knight at ninth. And Blaze rounds off the top 10. And then we have Baked Potato, Turbo Chook, Mighty Owl, Fuzzy Dunlop, Interdance, ABD28, Deadshot, Eric Griffin, Rajesh, and Mr. Rout completing the grid.
Let's quickly run through the race director. Let's quickly run through the race director as well. Incidents. We'll get those. Right, that will be plenty. Now, viewers, we are going on to the grid before the race. Let's have your top 3 predictions, Deepak. Put your shot.
I would say Aston Martin 1-2. I mean, it's not too much to ask, I think.
Aston Martin 1-2. That I think it is possible. Although Ink, I believe, has not had the best of luck.
But we do
we'll
have to
say.
consider some outside chances because it's soaking wet over here in Silverstone, and we know how difficult the traction is in this track, and the rain is not going to make things easier for the drivers, which means that there's going to be a lot more mistakes, a lot more incidents, which the guys in the midfield and in the back of the field could gain on.
Certainly, if the driver's ahead, although, I mean, of course, with fast, you have to also be consistent and very clean.
Yep.
If they do make any mistakes, the people at the back, even if the people in the midfield, with any incidents or whatever, they'll be able to gain a lot. And considering it's wet conditions over here, setup of course matters, but it doesn't matter as much as the skill of the driver itself. And looks like we're starting already. I don't believe it has been a minute, but we'll have to see. But yeah, it really comes down to the skill of the driver for the most part. And as long as you can keep it clean, you can keep it consistent, not have a lot of wheel spin coming out of corners, don't make any mistakes, not have any oversteer, I think you should, be able to stay on track properly and, not get any warnings, not go off the track. I believe you do have a very good chance of staying ahead and, fighting for the position in the wet as we're coming on to the formation lap now. And I do say, and it is full wet conditions, Deepak.
Ah, okay. That is not what I expected when I saw that rain logo. I thought it would be in some inters kind of conditions.
Certainly, me as well. So this is really going to spice things up. As in the wet condition, it does fully come down to the full wet condition. It fully comes down to the driver's actual driving capabilities and ability itself, and that does of course come with.
Looks like Deadshot had some issues getting off the grid. He's stuck behind.
I believe he anti-stalled and he's still going fairly slowly. Not sure what's happening to him. But yeah, if this race is as predicted as shown by our weather forecast, it is going to go from a wet race to a dry race. So weather changing condition, and Vital and Turbo Chook have disqualified already. That is not going to help them with their tire times at all, as in this game, sitting on the grid after getting disqualified, you do lose tire times. And
But
as
one
the
good thing
predicted
though
pit
is
stop
wet
strategy
tires come
goes.
returns pretty quick, so you don't have to, you won't suffer as much as a soft, but still, yes, it is something to worry about.
Certainly, because they are sitting in the midfield, and if they don't get a good launch, they could either be eaten up by the pack, or they could cause an incident, which of course we don't like seeing.
I mean, we did
So
see
it'd be
a
interesting.
real example of that when the starts were inconsistent, like the guys weren't getting a good start, the guys were getting a bad start, and you know how that pile up. So yeah, let's
Certainly.
just hope that nothing like that happens over here. But we do know that even in the dry conditions, this track it can get bunched up near the loop section where all the drivers just slow down almost to a standstill where the hairpin is. So in the wets, it's going to be even more tricky to navigate through that section because it's going to be even more slow. I won't be surprised if some cars even come to a stop over there.
Certainly, I think the first few laps, I think people are just going to try and set into a rhythm as we are forming up on the grid now. Through the hairpins, through the very slow hairpins, is going to cause a lot of drivers to make mistakes, especially with the dirty air. And of course, the pressure of just making up a position and pushing constantly, it is going to force a few drivers to make some mistakes. So we'll have to see how that ends up. And Deepak, why don't you take us through the start?
Oh.
Waiting on grid for someone. There's the last car, I believe, coming up onto the grid.
Was all set. Highlights, and it's lights out, and we are underway. Season 9. Oh, we already have some stalling behind McLaren and a Haas. Alfa Romeo is spinning around, but up front the leader seems to have gotten a good launch. Karthik is holding this position, but Ink has fallen down. He went down 2 positions.
Certainly, this is looking a very good start, and as Ink is touching the back of Vabi, this is turning into a pile-up. A lot of people are moving up and down the order. Rajesh has, I believe, spun out and has fallen to the complete back as Vaibhav and Ink are going side by side. Ink is ahead and he stays ahead. Fuzzy Dunlop with the drive-through. Now, Vaibhav and Blaze 555 are going side by side. There's a Ferrari in the back of Big Potato making a move down the inside. Is Blaze and Vaibhav, the fight between them, still going side by side. What this corner is called, but the infamous, I think, before Cops, whatever this corner is, they're still going side by side. This is causing Dark Knight to catch up to them. However, I think Vaibhav has cleared off Dark Knight and he's staying ahead. Will someone do a Lewis Hamilton? Certainly not. That looks like Rajesh has spun in the back as well. Sorry, Mr. Raut looks like he's spun. He's gotten a 5-second time penalty for cutting a corner and gaining 1 place. Not sure what happened there. Might get removed. Turbo Choke trying to make a move on Deadshot in P10. I will remind all of the viewers that the points system allows the drivers to get points up until P15. So that is the Mercedes of ABD. We'll see how this goes. Mighty Owl is making a move on Wilster G. Let's quickly go on board with them if we can. In the this, something's happened to ABD or Fuzzy Dunlop or something. They are having a bit of a battle in the back. Karthik Sub, of course, staying ahead, but it's very close in the midfield. Wilster G pits. ABD is also pits. What's happened to them?
Well, behind I did see a Mercedes making a very slow start, and some other car going into the back of that car, losing some winglets. And of course, we did see the Alfa Romeo spinning on the start. So wet conditions definitely casting out a lot of people there.
Certainly, lots of drivers have pit. Saurav pit, Wilster G, ABD missed it out. Fuzzy Dunlop, let's quickly go on board them before we switch back to the on-track action. Deadshot getting loose on the exit there. Eric Griffin as well getting loose. I wonder if the drivers there are changing their wings, and considering ABD entered the pits after Wilster G entered the pits, he's going to get held up for long, and he's going to try. He's going to be caught far behind, and he's going to try and push back. This is certainly not good considering that these are interchangeable conditions. So the track is going to dry up as we go further on, and having a pit stop earlier is not good. Turbochuk is coming side by side on Deadshot. I think he's already passed Deadshot. No, they're still going side by side.
Oh.
Will he do a Lewis Hamilton? No, but still very close. Deadshot is still trying to come back at Turbochuk for P10. And I think Turbochuk is just going to have that little bit of a lead. I believe Deadshot might be running a dry setup, so that's going to help him out in the dry perhaps. but he is catching up to Turbachuk in the corner, so maybe a more
Oh, look
higher
at that
downforce.
understeer there.
Also,
I was just not
yeah,
turning.
the dirty air is not helping him out at all. Goes off under the cars. Still not a problem. This yellow flag in sector 1, and I believe that is Mr. Raut. There we can see Dark Knight very close to Vaibhav. This is just the second lap. I would like to remind you guys, Envy is the fastest guy on track right now. He's up into P2. I think we need to go on board them since they're very close to each other, although we will be keeping an eye out on Dark Knight and Vaibhav. You can see
Yep,
Envy.
these two guys have broken away, so it's a 1.7 gap to the next car, P3, which is Abhi.
Could we see the position changes?
Yep, sure.
Stayed the same, but Envy is closing in onto Karthik Sub. Let's quickly go on with Karthik Sub to see his ERS levels. He's completely using up his ERS, although it is very easy to gain back ERS in the wet since you're not using much of your engine power. As you can see, he's already gained back much of it. And I think what's happened to Fuzzy Dunlop? I believe he's desync. I think Fuzzy Dunlop is severely desync.
Yep, he is.
Desync.
Desync.
As he had mentioned in the briefing, as well as it says in the rule book, if a driver has continuous desync, they will be requested to go into the pits and retire within 3 laps. Let's see if he does that. And I think Rajesh has spun. This is a virtual safety car. If you go on about Rajesh, does he have a broken wing?
He's not
yellow
spun
flags
around,
there.
he's just carrying on.
But there were yellow flags on him. Perhaps it's some driver around him, and I think that is
Fuzzy done.
Fuzzy done. Drive through. There's a few people getting a drive through. Well, someone's got damage in the back. We'll need to see who pits to get their wing changed. That's certainly not going to help them, but this just sort of resets the driver, the virtual safety car, to help them focus back, recharge their batteries, cool the tires down slightly, and just make sure they're prepared to go again. It's sort of like another chance. If the race gets 3 seconds, multiple warnings.
But one thing that you have to understand is VSCs are known to spoil a lot of races for a driver. Like you need to be within the delta, and sometimes you might mistime the delta and it straight up slams you with a DT, which will completely reset your race.
I mean, it's happened to me as well last season in the Tier 1 race, and Turbachuk gets a drive-through. Blaze also gets a drive-through. Blaze was in a very good position. I think he was competing for P4, P3, and now he's got a drive-through. That's going to send him back. Of course, you cannot serve a drive-through under the safety car itself, so these drivers will have to go. And there's multiple drivers who drive through. Mr. Raut, ABD, Fuzzy Dunlop, Deadshot, Turbachuk, Blaze. So this is going to really hinder with their races, especially ABD, considering that he got damage on lap 1. He had to pit. He entered behind Wilster G, his teammate, so he got held up in the pits since you cannot double stack in this game. And Turbachuk has gone off and retired. Coming out of the slow corner, Mr. Raut gets 3 seconds. Will that be a safety car? I wonder. But Rajesh.
Oh, he's crashed near the old pit lane.
I think he forgot where the pit lane was.
That's a really sad end to the race, though.
Certainly, because the conditions will be changing as we go further on here. Here's Dark Knight coming out onto Vaibhav. Will he be brave and send it around the outside? No, things better with. He cautiously goes for a switchback. Beautiful switchback, going side by side with Vaibhav, and I think he's moved up. Vaibhav sends one down the inside. They're still going side by side. Let's go on good Dark Knight, please.
Not getting a good onboard camera, and Baked Potato moves him through this. It's kind of a typical Hamilton moment there.
Certainly a Ferrari master plan, I believe, since both the Ferraris have pulled away from Dark Knight. They made a very good move. Vaibhav put pressure on Dark Knight, sent it down the inside, which blocked him off and helped his teammate Baked Potato to go through as well. This is really crucial for the constructors between them, because Dark Knight's teammate Mr. Raut is far back. I think he might be decent, he might not be decent, not sure. But that's for sure that Mr. Raut won't be scoring points. So it comes down to Dark Knight to score any points. And I will also like to mention the restart window for this race has closed. It closed at the end of lap 3. So for whatever reason, we will not be restarting this race unless it affects every driver on the grid. And Vaibhav fell back, so the Dark Knight has made a move on him. I don't think we should be missing this thing. Blaze is yet to serve his drive-through. I think he might get a disqualification if he doesn't serve it this lap.
Up front, the lead
But
is
it's
getting
crucially
very
served
close
this
to
map.
Spicy over here. The cap is coming down, but he's just stuck to the diffuser of Karthik. He's just waiting for the bounce. Let's see when that's gonna happen, but the cap is definitely very enticing.
Certainly, he is putting pressure on Karthik to, make a mistake. And looking at his fuel indicator, never mind, Dark Knight and Baked Potato going side by side. Baked Potato pulls off ahead, but Dark Knight's coming right back at him. I think they're going to pull off the same sort of move. No, Dark Knight actually blocks off Vaibhav to not make the mistake he did the lap before. Although Dark Knight looks to be on pace now. So I think his tires were colder on the lap before, and now he's kicked on. And he's going to be trying to make a move on Baked Potato and pulling away, considering that Baked Potato does have 3 seconds. So even if the position stay as is, he will be, behind his teammate as well as Dark Knight. Envy is still closing up onto Karthik sub, but is not close enough to make a move. Blaze 555 serves his drive-through. Here comes Dark Knight again on Baked Potato. Will he be sending it down the inside using his ERS? No, thinks the better of it. I think he'll be looking to make the move into the last sector. Envy got really close to Karthik's sub. Abhi gets 3 seconds. Eric Griffin gets another 3 seconds. Will Envy be able to make a move going into the second last corner? Here's Dark Knight. He's made a move on Baked Potato already. So this is going to be really interesting to see where this
I'm sorry for saying it again, but the lead battle is again going on.
Of course, we cannot miss the lead battle at all. Envy's moved up. Karthik's up trying to send it round the outside. Will he stick it? He's trying for the switchback. No, just slams it onto the grass, which slows him down a lot. Envy is pulling away from Karthik's sub, although I believe Karthik's sub will be looking to put pressure on Envy. Now, Sai Tarun gets 3 seconds for multiple track limit warnings.
I think it might be tough for Karthik to regain the lead because Envy just had excellent pace because both of these guys broke up, but Envy was just stuck to the situation for quite a long time. Now that he's been released from being stuck behind another car, I think Envy is gonna just bite the bullet and just go for it. He's gonna pull the pin.
Certainly, there's a spun car of, I think, Dark Knight in Sector 3.
I don't think that's Dark Knight.
That's Mr. Raut then. I apologize. Potatoes pulled into the pits. Blaze has pulled into pits. They're trying to change onto Inters. Do you think this might be Inters condition? It might just be a mistake by Baked Potato.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in terms of the weather at least, but I do think that if there is a dry transition coming up, it's much better to stay out on these tires.
Certainly, and this could become like what happened this year in Monaco, where Carlos Sainz opted to stay out and not pit onto Inters, and that did help him a lot. That ended him up on the podium. So we'll see how this works out for Baked Potato. I think it might be Inters condition because he is gaining by a lot down in P11. So I certainly think it's Inters condition. Drivers do have the option, to just stay out. Eric Griffin and Blaze have also pit. They'll also be looking to be quite quick right now. So I do believe we are on Inters conditions. Do you think, Deepak, there will be some driver who decides to stay out and wait for it to dry up and then go for the pits, because that will be...
Let me cut you off right there. The race leaders have also gone into the pits. So I believe there is no dry transition coming.
Maybe it will be because it has gone down to Inters. Can we see? Sorry, never mind. There we go. That's the predicted weather condition. I was going to say, let's see that, and it showed up. So it has come up, and Inter tires in the next 5 minutes. So Deepak, let me ask you this: do you think there will be just one driver who will be willing to stay out on full wet tires, wait for it to dry out, and then go into the pits? Because it could be a lot of time gain. I mean, of course they're not going to be on the right tire, so that's not going to help them. However, the fact that they didn't pit and lose about 30 seconds in the pits. That's a lot of time to lose in the pits considering this is a very long pit. So do you think someone is gonna risk it and stay out on full wets?
I mean, I definitely do think some people will do it, but then again, we don't have the full weather conditions. Like, I don't know how the transitions are gonna come in, but if the dry transition is gonna come in, like, and say on the halfway point of the race, I would say just hang out to these tires.
Doesn't seem like a bad idea, and I think if the transition comes somewhere around the 15-16 lap point, then I think sending it on softs directly from full wets would not be a bad idea, certainly, although it looks like most drivers are opting to pit. So I don't think anyone's trying to risk it and stay out. And here's Envy making a move on Mighty Owl. Mighty Owl still on those wet tires. They're staying side by side. Envy has the inside line, goes down the inside and makes the move down.
Yeah, that's just superior brace and superior grip coming in there. And Mighty Owl is diving into the pits. I guess everyone is diving into the pits. So I think we are kind of blind on the weather. I think drivers have a bit more info on the weather at least.
Certainly, and I didn't want to point it out earlier. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner of Envy's telemetry, he has a yellow fuel indicator. That means he's lower on fuel compared to the rest of the people because of the wet conditions. I believe he's predicting a safety car. Plus, you save a lot of fuel under the wet conditions. Rajesh gets a 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. However, this is a very risky strategy. Underfueling a car in the wets, considering, I mean, you do save up a lot of fuel, but I don't think it'll be enough for him to finish unless he's hoping for a safety car at some point.
But I mean, ideally speaking, under wet conditions, you're not going to use up your fuel quite a lot. So I guess he was betting on the wet conditions, and of course, he has some safety car periods extending. And you see a stationary car somewhere behind.
It's an Alfa Romeo. I think it's Rajesh. He's stuck in the pits. Can we go on about Rajesh real quickly? I think he spun in the pits. I don't see,
know what was
because
going
he
on,
was
but I did see a car that was stuck in there for some time.
So it was Rajesh, certainly. Yes, Blaze coming on. Dead shot still on those wet tires. Just look at the supreme grip of those inters. Sai Tarun gets another 3 seconds. Fuzzy Dunlop and Abhi finally pit now. Yeah, I guess Inter's condition right now, certainly, I mean, as we can clearly see, everyone's just pitting for that. Abhi is the last one, I believe, no, certainly not the last one, but one of the last few people to pull in for the Inters. I think he's trying to extend his full wet tires for as long as possible, and he sets the fastest lap of the race so far with the 39.3. Will be, of course, they'll be improving on those times. Eric Griffin gets another 3 seconds. We are almost at the halfway point, we're just a few laps away from it. This is quite an interesting race with seeing drivers pull off into the pits, especially with the interchangeable conditions.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of weather conditions always throws up some other curveballs at the drivers with their strategy and deciding when to pit, what to pit for, and stuff like that. It's always interesting, and of course, it also tests the skill of the drivers, you could say.
Certainly, it's all about car control in the wet. Regardless if you are running traction control or not, it doesn't really help you much in such slippery conditions. There was a brief yellow flag in Sector 1, not sure for who, but that's cleared now. The field spread is decent. I mean, of course, NB is just pulling away.
I think Abhi has lost out quite a lot by staying out on the wets, because he was running in third position, splitting the Aston Martins, but now he's fell down to P5. So maybe staying out on wets was not such a great idea then, at least in the short term, looks like.
Certainly, I think he should have pulled the plug, but I think that was just... I think there was some sort of team strategy going between Sai and Abhi, so that Abhi comes out and doesn't block Sai. And also the fact that Abhi comes out in clear air, that, he's not disturbed by Sai Tarun's dirty, already sort of worn tires, and his dirty air, of course. So I think that was some sort of a team play there, although Abhi is looking like he's catching Sai Tarun right now, but it's going up and down. We'll have to see where they end up. But right now, sort of Pat and Eric, that's a lap car. yeah, right now as things stand, Karthik sub ending in the Aston Martin, I think Aston Martin will certainly be taking the lead of the WCC. Considering Envy, I mean, yes, of course, Envy is winning the race, but his teammate Deadshot, he's not doing himself good because let's quickly check penalties, please.
Yep, sure. That's
Yeah,
a
he
lot
has
of penalties.
That's 6 seconds, and Baked Potato with 11, Eric Griffin with 12. Yeah, well, Deadshot's not really helping himself, considering that, you know, he has 6 seconds of penalties, and if ABD can catch up, or, you know, if Deadshot gets another 3 seconds, I think it's going to push him out of the points. So, certainly for now, Aston Martin are looking to get the WCC.
The Red Bulls are closing it when they pay team orders.
I believe so, because Abhi is quite quick, like much faster compared to Sai. Yes, there are team orders, so Abhi is up into P4 in the hopes that, you know, he can catch up to Ink and Karthik sub. Of course, Abhi has lesser penalties as well. Sai Tarun with 9 seconds, that's not going to help him out at all. Although Deepakraj does have 11 seconds. Here's Vaibhav trying to send an attack on Blaze 555.
Well, I believe it was actually the other way around. Blaze had made the move and Vaibhav was trying to get the place back.
If that's the case, then he does really need to pick up his pace. And he needs to you know, really put pressure on Blaze and find a way to, you know, get past him, since every point, especially, you know, in the first round of the race, round of the season, is crucial, because it gets you a very, very good, you know, sort of a boost. The driver standing as well as the constructors, so it really helps you out there. I think Vaibhav should be looking to push as much as he can, although the gap is falling a lot. Vishajit has the fastest time of the race with 37.8. Vaibhav, I think he'll be trying to stay within the 1 second of Blaze, you know, whenever DRS does get enabled, he'll be quite close to attack, since the DRS is quite powerful on this game. Here's Wilsaji coming up onto Mighty Owl. Very close. Using up his ERS. Will he try and send it down the inside? I don't think he should. Looks at it, but he won't.
He is holding it. I mean, he didn't even deploy a lot of the ERS. He just had a little peek on the inside, and I think that really unsettled Mighty Owl there. And now he's having the inside line, and I think it's time for battery dump. Or is he forgetting that the battery is using? Oh yes, he's using the battery right now.
He is using the battery. They're
But
still
so
going
is
side by
Mighty
side,
Owl.
coming into Top's corner. Will he do a Hamilton? No, he doesn't.
Wow.
It was very close. Almost did a Hamilton, but thought the better of it. I think he knows he doesn't want to be known as IRC's Hamilton. Of course, Wilshire, he has a lot of experience. Whoa, that's a lot of grip. Mighty Owl has lost a lot of grip there. Then gets 3 seconds, so he probably took a wrong line through there, which set his car off. Wilshire makes the move quite easily, although he is trying to attack back with the ERS. Let's move back onto Saurav Pat, who's trying to send an attack on Eric Griffin. And Eric Griffin, of course, one of the fast drivers we have here, but not sure why he's back into P2. I think he had some incidents in the beginning of the race. Although Eric Griffin is pulling away quite a lot. Deadshot gets another 3 seconds, so
Not really helping us.
I think not helping the WCC, that's for sure. I think the only point scoring person in AlphaTauri today will be Envy. He's 5.5 seconds away from Karthik sub. That's a massive gap, man. I didn't expect that. Eric Griffin goes off wide, staying onto the curb, gets stuck on the sausage curb, still somehow brings it back on the track. And if we pay close attention to Saurav Pat's front wing, the right side is slightly damaged, which on this game does affect Force a lot. It's not going to be helping him by much. Although Eric Griffin trying different lines to, defend off, but he just goes off wide, gets 3 seconds. Squiggling a lot, has a lot of oversteer. Saurav Pat makes the move quite easily. Eric Griffin really just took the wrong line through there, got a lot of oversteer coming on power since he was off track, and it's very wet there, and also the fact that it is AstroTurf, so he basically had no grip at all through there, and yeah, that just paved the way for Saurav Pat to go through. Although Eric Griffin has moved back on Saurav Pat, can we quickly go back to that fight? Yeah,
Oh,
his
he almost
surf
goes off
pad going
track.
off the track and they touch slightly. Yeah, that compromises sort of pad. Not sure what they're trying to do here. Eric Griffin is ahead again, coming into Maggots and Beckett's, although sort of pad is slightly closing in. But yeah, again, his front wing being slightly damaged does not help him. Going on with Deadshot. In that race has already passed Deadshot. Deadshot will be looking to try and come back.
We have another battle up ahead. Let's go on to that. There's quite a lot of battles going on around. It's kind of getting tough for me to track them all. But yeah, it does
Yes,
look quite spicy.
We do apologize if we miss any battles, but there's just so many of them going on track right now with multiple drivers. It's just confusing to see, pay attention to just one. Dark Knight again trying to come up at Vaibhav. We're seeing where that unfolds, and of course Vaibhav and Dark Knight fighting is also helping Wilster G since he's closing up onto them. And this could soon turn into a three-way fight. I believe it's already a three-way fight. It's just Wilster G needs to close in a 10th or 2 more, and he'll be right on the back of Dark Knight. And looking at this current pace right now, Wilster G is looking to be really quick. Envis has the fastest lap of the race. Dark Knight is right on the gearbox of Vaibhav.
Oh, that was too close in the middle of the corner.
Does compromise his exit slightly. Vipers have pulled away, but will Wilster G send one here? Looks like Dark Knight has slightly lower downforce. He's staying ahead, but will the slipstream sort of help him? There goes Wilster G, looks down the inside, doesn't send it. Of course, it's not in the dry, so it's not really worth sending it there. Although Dark Knight does go off wide, and although it does come back on track, so we'll have to see.
And
We don't know if
Ferrari
we got a
has
warning for that
pitted.
or not.
I think Baked Potato has gone to the pits.
It has stopped raining if you notice, Deepak. So,
It is.
raining,
It's
so not
still raining.
Off-board camera looked like it wasn't
Yeah.
so well on, but clearly there is rain. Not sure why Baked Potato has put maybe. Not sure.
And
he didn't
behind
look
you
like
got
running.
another battle from 12 to 15. Got a good DRS trade, but this is. I still don't know which one to pick right now.
Priority. It sort of takes priority since it's ahead. Here comes Wilster G staying off track. 2 of his tires are off track on grass. Of course, this is not iRacing, so it's not going to help you at all. But yeah, that did compromise him. He's locking up going into that corner. There's yellow flags in Sector 2 and Sector 3.
That looks like a
first
stuck
he
car of
has-
Williams, Mr. Raut, I think.
But he's cleared. Okay, both cars are clear. But yeah, that was very close. Here comes Dark Knight on Vaibhav again. Going through Cop's corner. Still very close. Going into Max and Beckett's. Dark Knight has to make sure he doesn't get a compromise line. And he has to keep it clean to make sure he gets proper. And Eric Griffin has spun. It's not going to help him at all. But yeah, I think Dark Knight got a decent exit through there. But again, it's not enough. Although Wilster G is certainly trying to make a move, but that, doesn't end in anything because Slipstream doesn't really pay out much in the wet. But yeah, you have to be really close. I think within 2 or 3 tenths for it to work out, and he wasn't in that gap, so it's not going to help. Although this is costing 5 of Dark Knight and Wilster G a heap ton of time. Wilster G looking down the inside, of course, doesn't send it there because he's not close enough. Although Dark Knight has taken sort of a compromise line through there. Well, yeah, I mean, sort of confused as to what to say because they are getting very close, but they're not making any moves. I mean, the opportunity is not creating to make any moves.
Wilster is just showing his presence there. He's hoping that Dark Knight budges under pressure. That's not happening, and we see Vaibhav is just...
Eric Griffin has retired from this race. And there is a full course safety car, full course caution. That is going to change things a lot since we still haven't transitioned on to dry. We'll have to see what goes on here. And Deepak, can we see tires, please, really quickly? Everyone is on inters, but yeah, the things are varying, and this is not going to help Baked Potato, mind you, because he just pit a lap earlier.
I didn't know
so
why he went into the pits.
it's
Maybe
not
he
gonna
had a
help him out
ping
a
damage
lot.
or something, but whatever it was, that was a very unfavorable time to make a pit stop. We do see some people going into the pits. We do see the race leaders. Oh, Envy has decided it's time for the slicks.
Can we go on board? Can we see if it's... No, it's certainly still raining, so I think Envy... I mean, can we get the weather prediction really quickly? happens in the next 5 minutes? Could we get that? Because these drivers know something that we don't, since all of them are pitting on softs. We of course don't know what's happening. Apologies for the pause. We're just trying to get the weather up.
Well,
Weird.
rain is gonna end in 10 minutes. But I do feel like this could be a little early for slicks. I do know the safety car is gonna go on for 3 laps, but right now it does look a little early for me, but I don't know.
I mean, they are seeing something that we're not seeing because we don't have exact, proper data towards it. I mean, if they have, all the shot, right now it's still pretty intense conditions. So Envy is, Envy Karthik sub is not going to help them at all, unless, of course, it, within the next couple of laps, it suddenly changes into.
I'm
the
pretty
dry
sure the
condition
drivers are
now.
betting on the fact that the safety car will go on to its full length, which is 3 laps in this. So you have 3 laps of safety car, and I think that should be enough time for the track to, be just enough to manage on slicks, and then of course after that the track will eventually dry up. But this period they got to be very careful. I know it's safety car period and everything, but it's still possible to lose your car out on, especially when you drive on slicks on a wet surface.
Certainly, and it, I mean, I don't understand why they went on to softs yet, but I mean, it could either be the best move of their career, or it could, just screw them up completely, because it's still raining, it's still fairly intense conditions. So Sai Tarun is looking at a strong contention to take the lead for now.
So ABD has gone into the
have to
pits,
see.
took a set of slicks, and Rajesh is also in the pits. He has gone for a set of inters, looks like.
It's interesting.
Is also going into the pits, as is Blaze. So I'm pretty sure they're all gonna go for some slick tires.
Blaze gets 5 seconds for severe collision with Fuzzy
Okay,
Dunlop.
that's definitely decent because Fuzzy Dunlop was
That's
nowhere
decent.
there.
Yeah, so that is certainly going to get removed by our stewards. Are they all going to softs? They are going on to softs.
Yep.
So they are seeing something that we're not seeing.
And just
either-
one more clarification regarding the penalty removal. I mean, I do remember this was brought up earlier, but wasn't it a rule that when a safety car is there, penalties will not be removed?
I mean, unless of course it was an unavoidable collision, then it will be removed. And here it is unavoidable, considering that Fuzzy Dunlop is decent.
That is true.
He couldn't have avoided it anyway, so it probably will be removed. And what is going on here?
These guys
I'm
have got to be
confused.
careful not to touch each other, because you slightly tap your opponent's car, it considers that as
Mr. G
severe
is
collision
going
in 5
off
seconds.
the track now, and he's almost. Sorry? Mr. G has a broken end plate on the right. What is going? What? Sorry, but I'm really just confused as I cannot comprehend what's going on, because Mr. G looks like he's slowing down, trying to give way.
I just
The
think,
others are then slowing down to give way.
I just think what could have happened is Mr. could not control his car on the slicks, hit someone or some wall or something like that, or maybe the desync car of Fuzzy Dunlop broke a winglet and
Inderdesh
he's
is
dropping like a
letting him
stone.
by. Inderdesh is letting him by.
Oh, you could see already there that tires are not working right now as it is.
Yeah, for sure. This is not gonna help them at all. But I mean, they are catching up to the safety car, but it is kind of confusing as to what is going on.
Yep.
Well, still raining. A few of them at least are still opting to go on to.
Envy has gone into the pits
Envy has
again.
quit.
Is he rethinking his
Maybe.
decision?
Maybe the soft strategy wasn't the ideal one, perhaps. Predicted conditions in 5 minutes will be dry, will be slicks conditions. So I think that's just before the end of this race, like a lap or two before. So what is Envy going on to? Inters, and we spit for Inters.
Yep. He
if
definitely
you had
had
to go back
some
on
second thoughts on the
Inters-
whole soft strategy. I don't know, it could be of some help because we did see how Wilster was struggling to even keep his car going straight on that surface. So it could be a wise call, but I am once again kinda completely in the dark over here. I don't know what's gonna happen. So yeah.
Certainly, but if it plays out properly, then Sai Tarun, Vaibhav, and Abhi are looking at a very, very solid podium finish, perhaps.
Yep.
Because if the softs, are clearly not it, then well, the Inters certainly are, and we'll have to see where they end up. Sure.
This is definitely throwing a big curveball at us, and this is something I really like about wet condition and mixed races like this because it just throws a lot of questions up in the air and you just think non-stop about it. But ultimately, when you see that happening, it's all just really great.
Certainly, I mean, this is going to really throw the drivers off here and there, and well, it does say it's going to dry up in about 5 minutes, so that's maybe a lap or two before the end. And a few of the drivers still haven't caught up, so not sure what's going on there. I think the safety car should be in this lap. I don't think.
I believe it has been 2 laps. Oh yes, the
Safety car is in
lap.
this lap, so a lot of drivers are going to miss out because they're far behind, and the
I mean, I
soft
think
runners
it's
are
only like
aggressively
3
leading
or
to
4
tempo
cars
sharing.
that are stuck behind, and I would say this one fuzzied under because the car is missing. We have only 4 cars that are stuck behind the queue, but whatever it is, let's see who has made the right call. So we do have an Inter starting in the lead, which is Sai Tarun, and a soft right behind him. Let's see who made the right call here.
Certainly, as Sai Tarun has gone already, but Karthik Sub has no grip on his soft. Sai Tarun's already pulled away 2 seconds, and he's also getting pressured by Vaibhav. Vaibhav just has a lot more grip. Vaibhav makes the move. Karthik Sub still struggling. Vaibhav could be looking for a solid podium finish here. This is turning into a mess. There's 7 cars that are trying to fight for position, and some of them someone goes off wide. That's Karthik Sub who's gone off wide. This is just turned into a train. Vaibhav moves up into P2. Sai Tarun's in the lead by 4 seconds now, and this is just turning into absolute chaos.
Oh no!
Blaze has contact with Mighty All. Mighty All goes off, and he certainly has damage. Hasn't retired though. Let's stay. On the top few people, because this is really interesting sort of pattern. Envy are going side by side. Both are on Inters, although Envy is on new Inters, so he's gonna have a lot more grip.
You see, Dark Knight's car is getting in the way. Blaze is trying to get away, past him with his Inters that is just working up superiorly right now. But Envy is also trying to come back. I think Envy just made the very last minute decision, and I think that is helping him out. But I think Karthik, Ink, and Dark Knight need to just hold on to the ground, just make sure they don't do any drastic mistakes, and the tires will definitely come back. And you see Envy goes off track and gets it back. That is
Yeah,
just
and
typical.
Mr. G is also flying right now. He's fast. Sort of bad. Wilson is trying to make a move on Blaze. Blaze is holding up Envy and Wilster G.
Blaze is sending it on the inside. Is he gonna? No, he's just gonna hold it back.
I think it's drying. I think it's drying up. Let's go and put Karthik Sub really quickly, please, Deepak.
Sure. Yep. He is going side by side with Vaibhav, and through Abby they go, and Karthik is.
Yeah, I think it's still certainly a lot drier now. So the softs will be kicking in.
Yep. The rain has stopped for sure. That's clear.
It has stopped for sure. There's just a few drops here and there. The softs will really be acting. Can we quickly see penalties, please?
Oh, sorry for that.
Sai Tarun has 9 seconds. That's not gonna help him.
Definitely not.
I think Karthik Sab and Abhi are still in a decent contention for the podium. We'll see where this ends up.
Vaibhav is dropping another position. Now you see the softs are completely coming back.
Slight contact.
Yep, the Inders are slowly going into the territory where they're not going to work anymore, and you see the softs are working right now. They are coming back.
Certainly, Baked Potato set the fastest lap of the race with the 36.1. The times are getting faster and faster. Let's quickly go back onto tires. And there's a spun Ferrari of Baked Potato all the way in the back after setting the fastest lap. He spun, but Ink is putting pressure on Abhi. Ink, of course, has no penalty, so he's in a very, very good contention here to win. If Ink can stay ahead of Dark Knight, if Ink keeps it clean, he's certainly going to win here. I'm confident of it.
Yep, all he needs to do is just stay off the track limits, just be cautious, don't spin around, don't get any track limit penalties, and he definitely looks to be in control. And DRS is enabled.
So Dark Knight will be putting a lot of pressure on Ink. So this comes down to the fight of who will stay ahead. Can we quickly see penalties again just to see how many Karthik. He has 3 seconds. So this is a fight for P2 right here, unless Karthik Sub makes a crucial mistake. Be interesting to see because DRS is enabled. Here comes Dark Knight with DRS on Ink. Will he send it down the inside? No.
We do have a yellow flag in sector 2. Looks like a stuck car of Haas. Looks like a mighty owl.
I think there was a bit of collision back there because there were 2 cars that were very close to each other. Anyways, let's shift our focus back to Dark Knight and Ink because this is a very, very good fight for P2. And if Karthik Sub does not get another 3 seconds, he'll certainly win this race.
Yep, all signs point towards that. And behind Envy is trying to size up a move on Wilster. That looked a bit weird, but somehow went through.
I mean, he's made it done.
All right, going up front, we do got a battle up front for the podium position.
Dark Knight
has
has
gone ahead.
passed. Yes, he has passed, and if Dark Knight can keep up the pace and get within 3 seconds of Karthik Sub, he could certainly win. Win this race on just penalties here. As we can see, Envy on the back of Wilster G. Really, really close, although Wilster G gets
A comparatively better exit, you could say. Envy just understeered a bit wide, dirty air, but whatever it was, Wilster has the edge over there.
I think certainly understeered because his top speed was just his top speed was massive there. So I think he certainly has a lower downforce setup here, and he's still trying to get that position. I mean, he's going to get the position anyways because
penalties. But still, getting it on track, and he is looking to make a charge. Like, he's got 3 laps to get as close as could to the front.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So up front, the podium battle is once again heating up. Ink is somehow staying within Dark Knight. Dark Knight's DRS. So I don't think this is done yet.
Certainly isn't done, as Ink has set the fastest first sector so far, and that gets taken away from him. But still, quite a fast first sector if it was the fastest for a long time. This is still a fight for P2. Ink really trying to get that 1-2 for Aston Martin, and he sends it down the inside. He is ahead, gets the move, then blocks off Dark Knight to make sure he doesn't send it down the inside. Have to cover the line though. Dark Knight looks down the inside, doesn't send it, thinks the better of it to keep it clean. Karthik Sub gets the fastest lap, Wilster G 3 seconds, Deadshot 3 seconds as well. Here comes Envy on Wilster G yet again, gets a decent exit. Ink has the fastest lap of the race with 30.2. Will Envy make the move done? Yes, he does. Goes around the outside. Wilster G sits behind him, and yeah, well, that's a comfortable position considering Envy was probably still is the fastest car on track. This is a very interesting battle as Blaze has sent it down the inside of Deadshot. Deadshot just goes off wide. Deadshot is still on inters. Deadshot is still on inters. Not sure what he's doing there. It's not gonna help him. Everyone else is on softs. So Deadshot from a decent point scoring position all the way down into P12, and I think he's gonna lose a lot more time.
It's almost like he's not driving on circular tires but square tires. Like, he's just stuck there.
His tires will be very hot right now, that's for sure. Dark Knight is trying to come back at Ink, but the gap is about 6 tenths, so that's going to be close. Sai Tarun gets another 3 seconds. That's 12 seconds now, although Sai Tarun is like 21 seconds behind Dark Knight. So yeah, the top 3 have no competition basically. Although it is unfortunate, I think if Envy stayed out on softs, Abhi goes off wide. If Envy stayed out on softs, I think he would have suffered for the first few laps, but I think he was certainly on for the win here. But yeah, here comes Abhi, has slight contact with Envy. Envy does.
Oh,
I think
control
that-
it.
that is very good car control, because if you go over there, for sure you're gonna spin. Lose control of your car. Here comes Abhi. He's trying to get the position of Inder Des, although Inder Des has 3 more seconds than Abhi. And he sends it down the inside, going side by side. He has the better line, so he gets the move done.
Oh.
Very clean. Here comes Wilser G as well on Inder Des. I think Wilser G caught Inder Des off guard. And also not to forget, Inder Des is basically out of ERS, and Envy gets 3 seconds now. Oof.
That's gotta put a dent.
Surely, but I mean, people behind him also have time penalty, so I don't think his position will be changing anytime soon.
I mean, he will stay in P8, that's for sure, but he definitely had the potential to jump a few positions on penalties.
Certainly, but yeah, we'll have to see, where, in case a driver ahead makes some sort of a mistake. Although Blaze is now trying to come up on Envy. I think he has made a mistake somewhere, because Blaze is really
This
close,
car
going
damage.
side by side.
Could you
His
check
car
the
is
damage of his car?
He is damaged on the front right, so that's going to lose him a lot of lap time.
I think that might have happened during his contact with Abhi in the middle of Madison brackets. Like he was just stuck
certainly.
there. Yeah.
Certainly, because he was quite quick before that, so I think that's going to report it. On to the final lap now. Karthik Sub is definitely going to win unless he makes a very bad mistake and spins or something. Fight for P2 is still on between Ink and Dark Knight. This could literally mean a 1-2 for Aston Martin and a very, very good lead, the WCC. I mean, a 1-3 they still wouldn't mind, because I mean it's still like a large, points haul compared to some Alpha Tauri or even Red Bull. As a matter of fact, they're 4 and 5 right now. But I'm pretty sure they would want to have a 1 and 2. Can we go on but Ink just to check his ERS really quickly? Yeah, Ink has 10% more ERS. He's using up all of it through here. Dark Knight is as well, but he has 10% less, so that's not going to help him. Yellow flag in sector 2, and who's that? That's Mr. Raut who spun. He has been lapped. He's done
He's
P16,
having a
so
very
he's
good
out of
race.
the point. Certainly, he's not having a good race. Although here comes Dark Knight with the DRS on. Let's go. Let's see. Both of them are dumping their ERS. Ink defends the inside line. Doesn't make the move done. Sorry, he wasn't close enough to make the move done. Can you go on board Karthik Sub really quickly, please? Karthik Sub, very good race, crosses the line, and Karthik Sub is the winner of the Silverstone GP. Will Ink stay ahead? Will he make a mistake? No. So that is your podium finish. Really, really close battle between Ink and Dark Knight, although the action is not over, as Wilson G will be looking to make a move on Abhi. Here he comes really close to Abhi. Will he send it down the inside on the last corner, or even round the outside? Maybe he could try for it. Will he send it? No, he doesn't. Thinks the better of it, and I think he's trying to put pressure on Abhi to make a mistake, but I don't think that will be so. And so that is your P5 and P6 coming back to Blaze and Inder Des. Of course, Inder Des had 3 more seconds. That pushes Blaze up into P6. Sai Tarun, who finished P4 on track, is down into P7. Vaibhav finishes as well in the Ferrari, and that's your top 10. Saurav Pat, ABD gets pushed back because of penalties. Saurav Pat in P11, Rajesh in P13. Of course, certainly not a good race that he has had here. Dead Shot in P14, Fuzzy Dunlop in P14, and Mr. Raut in P16. What a race that has been, Deepak.
Yeah, definitely a cracker of a race to open our season 9 with. Although it was, we did see some good mix of strategies going in here and there, some gambles paying off. And I think Karthik Sub really made that gamble work, because that one particular lap was very sketchy. And we did see MG backing out of it, but he did lose out a lot on that. But yeah, really kudos to Karthik up front for sticking with his decision.
Certainly. I think Envy could have certainly won here, but yeah, it is what it is. Inder Des gets driver of the day, and that's a very interesting pose. But yeah, that's a very solid 1-2 for Aston Martin.
Yep, these guys
I
have
mean,
started their campaign
that's
with a bang, with a 1-2. What better way
certainly
to start it?
that's a massive morale boost for them, and I mean, this is very good, sort of an indicator of as to what we can expect throughout the season. If this is how the races go, of course, we're not going to have interchangeable conditions throughout the race. Although we're going to have, you know, very very close racing over here, and that is your winner, Karthik Sub in the Aston Martin. Started P1, finishes P1. Ink moves up into P2 after starting P3. Dark Knight, P2, Dark Knight P3 started P9. Abhi in P4, Wilsaji in P5, Blaze P6, Sai Tarun P7, Inderdesh P8, Viber P9, and sort of pad rounds of your top 10. ABD in P11, Envy in P12, Rajesh in P13, Deadshot in P14, Fuzzy Dunlop in P15, Raut in P16, Mighty Owl in P17, Put in P18, Eric Griffin P19, and Turbochuk finishes the top 20. And that is the race for you guys. And let's see if we can pull our drivers in really quickly to the interview. Is Dark Knight. Dark Knight is already with us. Just give us a second, Dark Knight. Karthik Sub. We'll pull him in as well. Let's get the podium interview started as I'll bring Ink in as well. And here are our podium sitters, Ink, Karthik Sub, and Dark Knight. Deepak, why don't you get started with Dark Knight?
Yep, sure. So yeah, Dark Knight, I think you started P9 or something in the grid. Am I right? Dark Knight,
did,
can you
yes.
hear us?
He is muted for now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so first of all, congratulations on the podium. And
Yeah, thanks.
I do believe you started P9 on the grid, I think.
Yes, I started P9. So yeah, it was an interesting race. Obviously, I had to keep it clean at turn one, just avoid all collisions. My teammate got spun around who was just ahead of me. So yeah, and then the strategy just to we didn't know what to do, but then I was like, I'll take the risk and pit for softs, and yeah, it worked out, and we got a podium.
Yeah, so that was a really good call. I don't know who started the whole thing. I think Envy went for softs. Like, did that influence the decision, or you very guys fixed on going for softs already?
Yeah, so on the stream we saw Ink and Karthik obviously pitting for softs. So then last time in the last tier 3 race, a similar thing happened where it was like safety car came when it was going from wet to dry, and then some people pitted for softs, and then it worked out for them. They all finished in top 5. So yeah, this time I got a certain PTSD from that, and I was like, I'll pit for softs, I'll risk it, and yeah, it worked, and I got the podium.
So you and Ink had like some brilliant battle there. You guys were just stuck to each other, swapping positions here and there. So just talk us to the battle. How was it going down for you?
Yeah, obviously battling with Ink is fun. I mean, we have done it last season. We did it many times, and even last season, actually, last Silverstone race, we were fighting for P7, and we were going, we were fighting for P7. I think for almost like 6-7 laps, and it was literally the same thing. And Ink finished ahead last time and also this time, so well done to him. So yeah, it was an interesting battle, and yeah, hopefully I'll get to do that more often.
Okay, I think hopefully you'll be praying that next time I'm gonna get your Ink. So yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can try next time.
All right, boys. That was really good racing from both of you. Congratulations on your podium, Dark Knight.
Thank you.
Yep. So
Right, I'll take over Ink.
yeah.
Hello, sir.
Ink.
Hello, sir.
That was a really good qualifying from you. First of all, starting up in P3. Certainly, we didn't expect it since we had a few other drivers in mind, to cover up the top 5. But yeah, a very good qualifying for you. So I mean, of course, you could see that there was going to be interchangeable conditions from wets to inters, then tries. Did you have any specific strategy in mind, or were you just hoping that whatever the top 2 do, you're just gonna try and copy that?
Nope. So first of all, I myself didn't expect to be qualified P3. You have like guys like Envy, Wilster G, and like Blaze was quick on the practice sessions, almost 1 second quicker than me. And I thought I'll be like somewhere around P8 at max. So I didn't expect anything. But with the wet setup too, I somehow managed to qualify P3. I think the other people had a bit of difficulty in the qualifying, or else I think I would have been like P4, P5. And talking about the strategy, I should give all the credit to Heisenberg because he made the right calls. He said like all others like Abhi, Envy, and a few others went to softs, and after that went to inters, and then went on to softs again. So we stood we stuck to the what do you call strategy of keeping of pitting to the softs, and we were like it was driving on ice properly because I was skidding on like fifth and sixth gear. Also, I almost lost it like 4 or 5 times under safety car itself. I almost did a slaya, to be honest, and. Then me and Karthik, we like as soon as we saw them pitting again for like the what do you call thing intermediates, we knew there's a 1-2 in the bag, and I had a lovely battle with Dark Knight. Like I got deja vu from last season. We are fighting it out in the same way, same corners, same style, and this time I somehow managed to keep him behind me. Last time he got ahead of me, but he had penalties. So good race and a great 1-2 by me and Karthik, who on his first race itself in IRC managed to win the race, and that's it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be a very good WCC boost for you guys, as well as a very good morale boost. So, do you reckon you are on for the WCC? I mean, not to discount the Red Bull drivers, since they had very good pace as well in the wets.
Yeah, it is good to see Sai Tarun actually behind me. I was actually surprised to see him, consistently behind me. And towards the pit stop phase, he was right next to me. So I was in a Red Bull sandwich. So it's good to see Sai Tarun improving from last season on a personal note. And what was the question again? WCC, yes.
Yeah.
So on, I think the 3-4 faster guys than me had a bad race, so we somehow managed to get the 1-2 and make the most out of it, and we'll try to keep at it. To be honest, practically I'll be somewhere around P3 to P5 at max when they don't do mistakes or anything like that. So we made the most out of it, so we'll see by the end of season what will happen.
Certainly we will see, and that was a very good race from you, Ink, and congratulations for your P2.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to a race winner. Karthik, could you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Hello, and yeah, nice way to announce your arrival to IRC, winning your first race with us. So just talk us through the race. How was it for you?
It was amazing. So thank you guys for welcoming me into this community. First time here. I mean, I knew I had good pace in quali and the race, but I didn't expect to get pole because I thought Envy would take that. But surprisingly got there with the wet setup. And in the race, it was all about minimizing the mistakes. I had a great teammate, Ink, helping me through. And it was all about making the right calls at the right time.
Yep, that was a really good race from you. And we did see that the first phase, like when the wet tires were going on, you and MV were almost inseparable. Just talk us through that phase of the race. What was going through your head?
It's never easy when Envy's right behind you. He's a lot quicker than you, and you have to. There's a lot of pressure in not making mistakes. I think I let Envy through right away after a few battles, a few laps, because I knew we were gonna get him back in the strategy. So yeah, it was all about just keeping pace throughout the race.
Yep, and this particular strategy question goes on for all the three of you, because I think you were the leading cars to be pitting on to slicks. We were kind of scratching our heads. We thought maybe it's a lap or too early to make the jump to the slicks, but and our hunches were kind of coming true, because we did see Envy was backing out of it. He just went to the pits again and went for inters. So what was going through your head? Were you guys having any doubts on your strategy, or were you like, no, this is the right one, we're going to stick with it?
I think if the safety car went in 2 laps earlier, it would have been pretty bad for us. We would have lost a lot more positions. But I think we would have still got them back, because we knew the track was going to dry towards the end. And even the game, actually, Jeff asked us to pit again to inters once we were back on softs.
Yeah,
but once we saw the temperatures coming back, we knew, okay, we have this 1-2 in the back.
Yeah, that was really interesting for us to see. It was a good head scratcher moment for us. But again, we do love to prove ourselves wrong. at times like this, because it's always nice to see some different alternate options and some risks being taken and that getting rewarded. It's always nice to see. Yeah, good race, lads. Good race from all of you.
Right.
I
Thank you.
would like to ask you a question, Karthik.
Yes, tell me.
During the wet phase of the race, we did see that Envy was certainly a lot faster than you, and at one point he pulled away about like 5.5, 6 seconds from you. So at that point, did you think that okay, maybe you just have to wait for the softs, when it becomes dry, considering it was at a very later stage of the race, so you might have probably lost a lot more time, or were you just hoping that that he makes some sort of a mistake, or you were just backing out, saving your tires, making sure you have them in case of like a safety car or whatever.
My tires were actually heating up towards the end of that when Envy created that gap. At Maggots and Beckett's, my I think left fronts were going to 80 degrees and it was yellow. So I just had to keep it on the road. I didn't want to spin out there. So I knew we were going to soft, so I just had to wait it out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we saw Envy going on to softs. Like I know you followed him into the pits as well, if I'm not wrong. Do correct me if I'm wrong, though. So you followed him into the pits for the softs. Though I believe you did have some distance between the both of you. I think there was Sai Tarun separating the both of you. And of course, at that point, it was wet conditions still. There was about like 2 or 3 laps out to the dry. So did you think that, okay, maybe it was a wrong choice, considering that it was still fairly wet at that point?
Initially, yes, because the tires were ice cold for the first 3 laps, but we were under safety car. So just hoping throughout that the safety car just stays one more lap. And it did, which helped us.
Fair enough. And I don't have anything else with me right now. So yeah, congratulations on your win. Especially it's your first win in IRC in your first race as well.
First race as well. Yeah.
So yeah, good luck for the rest of the season. For the WTC as well. We're hoping to see a lot of fighting between you and Envy. That spice it up a bit. And yeah, congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Should be fun.
Yep, that was definitely fun for us. I hope it was fun for the viewers as well. Well, that was a cracking opener for season 9, and we are just getting started. The weekend is just getting started. So we do got F1 22, a new season, a new game coming up. So we do have 2 tiers in F1 22 coming up Saturday and coming up on Sunday. And Saturday we also got the ACC League that is starting up for its 6th iteration. So do stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel to get the regular updates. And see you all in the next race podcast. It's me, Deepakraj, signing out, and SimplyYT.